Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be painting a warband of orcs and goblins. First step was to prime these minis in a flat grey primer so that I could paint more easily over the minis and so that the paint would stay on much longer. The first part of these minis that I painted was the skin. I wasn't too bothered about getting any paint onto their clothes because I can just paint over that when I'm painting those areas. So I didn't need to be too careful. I just needed to be rough and get the paint onto their arms so I could then move on and go over them again so that the paint was more solid and less see-through, so that it actually looked more like skin instead of just a paint. This is how one of the minis turned out with just the first coat of the green on the arms. As you can see, it's quite patchy in some places, so I would definitely need to go over in a second coat. This is how all of them turned out with that first layer of the paint on. I hope you enjoyed the process of the painting the arms, and I'll move on to the next step. Next I start going over the clothes of these minis in a red-brown colour. This was because it's a good contrast to the green of the arms, and it's also quite a nice colour for an orc band's clothes to be. While painting the cloaks for these minis, I did try my best not to get any paint on the arms or the legs, but unfortunately in some places, especially the thigh where it's really close to the arm, I did actually get some onto the green of the skin. This was an easy fix though, as when I was at the end of the video just doing some touch-ups to the final result, I just painted over this in another layer of green and that fixed it up quite nicely. This paint that I'm using for the cloaks was actually really good because it only needed one coat to look full and properly cover the entire mini. So I didn't need to go over it in a second layer, which was quite helpful for saving time and also just nice because I didn't have to go over it again to make it look nice. I go through and do this to every single one of the minis just so that they're all uniform, and so I'm painting them all. After finishing all of the cloaks in that red-brown colour, I moved on to the belts and the handles for all of their weapons. The belts and handles were going to be the same colour, this sort of golden brownish colour. It's more of a normal brown, so it would contrast to the green again, but also not get lost in the cloak colours. Doing the belts was quite finicky because they are very, very thin, and also the handles, you had to go around the hand very, very carefully or you'll get loads of paint onto the hand, and that's not great. My brother also did a set of these minis, so if you want to see those minis and these minis in better quality photo, go check out the Instagram page linked in my description. Make sure to follow it to see whenever I post a video, and also any behind the scenes things and other arty bits and pieces. So make sure to check out that Instagram page down in the description below. Then I go on to painting the metal parts in these goblins and orcs, like their chainmail, their arm rings and their weapons. I made sure to cover as fully as I could on the chainmail and the arm rings, but the weapons I decided to only partially cover them, almost using a dry brushing technique where you just go over many of the edges so that the edges pick up more paint. This was so that they looked more clean on the edge where they're being used more, and more gritty on the handles and on the flat end of the weapons. I had some blood effects on all of their weapons to try and make this set look more gory. I do this by even more sporadically flicking the brush across the blades. I also tried to make some dripping across some of the blades, like the cleaver and the axe, and I even tried putting blood on one of the orc's arms, but this kind of looked muddy on top of the green, so I decided not to do that for any of the others, and just painted it over at the end in a green. This is how all of them turned out, and I really like how they are looking before the washes and before I paint their bases black. Here you can see I am going in and doing the black wash that I said I was going to. You can see how much darker it makes the chainmail look, and I really like how this worked, especially on the chainmail and the clothes. It just added lots of depth to the painting. I did go over and do it on the arms and the legs, but I decided to wipe that mostly off because I don't think it actually added anything. I think it even took away from the piece, making it all look muddy and all just not look very nice. As you can see, I am going over the weapon in this black wash as well, just adds some grimy grittiness to these weapons. And now for the big reveal. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the final result. This is how they ended up. Off camera I painted the mini bases black just to unify the entire piece and make it look more grounded in reality. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please make sure to check out the Instagram page in my description if you did enjoy these minis and do want to see my brother's version as well. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.